Hello and welcome to an incredibly old and frankly ugly building. You may be asking, what are you doing standing in front of such a sad looking building? Of which I will respond with Wazzu Racing. Wazzu Racing is the reason we are standing in front of this World War II era building made of completely red brick and asbestos. Now you may be asking, Scott, what is asbestos? Wazzu Racing. Of which I will respond with, stop asking questions and watch the documentary. Wazzu Racing is what we call a Formula SAE team. SAE stands for Society of Automotive Engineers, which is a group of smart people whose goal is to mobilize the future and benefit humanity, something like that. It doesn't quite make sense to me either, but it doesn't matter. What does matter is the competition they put on for college students, which is Formula SAE. It is a competition where students from different universities will create teams and will compete against 120 other teams where they will take their cars that they build, and these cars they design, manufacture, and test themselves. These cars are also these Formula style open-wheeled race cars, about quarter sized, and they will take these cars to Michigan International Speedway in Michigan every single May. They will compete in different points compete in different events to gain points, in which these points will be tallied up at the end to see who's best. To gain points, you'll compete in events such as the business events like cost report or the business presentation, or your car will be judged from design judges. These people from these companies will come and look at your car, judge it, judge the designs, and make sure you've complied to all the safety standards. Once they give you the A-OK, the fun can begin. From there, you get to compete in the dynamic events. These dynamic events include an acceleration test, a cornering test, a time attack race, and an endurance race. All of these events will then get you points, and these points again will be added up at the end, and whoever has the most wins. This competition is a great learning experience for these teams, and these teams are filled with student athletes. Wazzu Racing is one of these teams that is filled with incredible students. My name is Scott Kindelberger. I am the president of Wazzu Racing. Let's go see the shop now.
As I walked through a cloud of asbestos, the shop doorway, I started to think, how did Wazzu Racing get here? Where did it all begin? It's 1994, and I am a student who is bored of my classes and wants to build a race car. Formula SAE would be a great solution for my predicament. However, I wouldn't have enough money to support such a project. Instead, my roommate and I build a mini Baja car. Now it's 1996, and we have our first car, and it's garbage. It's large because both my roommate and I are 6'3", and it's slow. Although we did really bad in our first competition, it doesn't stop us. By 1997, we learned from our past mistakes and made a better car. However, I'm graduating, so what does that mean for the team? Well, I passed my knowledge to the next person. Mini Baja outlived me until 2004, which is when the team started to get more funding and we switched to Formula SAE. However, the first car was built in 3 years and didn't run until the fall of 2005. We were able to test from October until the competition later in 2006. This helped us locate problems and plan for them. We practiced nearly everything and got really good at skid pad, placing 5th that year with a 625-pound car, when most of the other cars were 450 pounds or less. It was driven too hard in the endurance portion, and we got hit with a fuel penalty, or else we would have probably had a top 20 overall finish. The next car was the first car built in a year, and it was really tough to do. A lot of design decisions were made because of the tough timeline, including Volkswagen Rabbit wheel bearings and cut down brake rotors. This made the car very heavy, and we finished it very late. It wasn't a very attractive car because the body was built in 3 days, and since no one could weld aluminum, we had to make a steel gas tank, which rusted right away. We constantly clogged injectors, and the car was still heavy and it ran hot. At this point, we made competition 2 years in a row, so we started to pick up a little more support from sponsors. The next year, we reused a lot of the hard-to-manufacture parts from the 2007 car, but tried to cut weight everywhere else. We also tried to run a turbo system, which was a little too ambitious and was part of the reason the car finished late again. This time we were 525 pounds, but could have been 500 if it was naturally aspirated. The car ran well, but during the endurance race, the ECU unit had an issue and it dropped one of the coil packs. That cylinder loaded up with fuel, and when the fuel made it to the turbo, it overspooled and blew off the intake. Although the team was left in a pretty good spot, the guys next year weren't super motivated to keep things going, and played more than worked on the car. In 2010, we got signed up for comp, but withdrew because we weren't going to get the car done in time. This happened in 2011 as well. In 2012, we got a car finished, brought it to comp, and didn't do too bad. We weren't able to compete in half the dynamic events, and the other half we scored really low in. The next year, we didn't get signed up for competition, and for 2014, we got signed up but withdrew. It's 2015 now, and we have a new crew who is motivated and determined to make a good car. We got a car to competition, but didn't get to compete in any dynamic events, and even got a penalty of 30 points. 2016, we did a little better, but still didn't compete in any dynamic events. However, 2017 is where things start to change. We finished our car early, did well on the business aspects of the club, competed in all of the dynamic events, and scored the highest score our team has seen of 306 points. Seniors graduated and there was some knowledge loss, so in 2018 the team didn't do as well points-wise, and 2019 was the same story. I can't quite remember what my research told me, but something happened in 2020 that canceled the FSAE competition for everyone. This really hurt our club because people weren't around to work on the car for the 2021 season either, so we didn't even sign up for competition. The 2022 season was also a nightmare because it was the first year our team was back. The goal was to just get something that worked and not worry about the rules. This cost the team as we didn't get past technical inspection. In 2023, the year Scott joined, the team was regaining its footing. However, we were lacking in some of the business aspects of the club, and our design wasn't much better. We again tried to get something that ran and worked and almost passed technical inspection, but because of an issue with our ECU and engine, the car wouldn't rev high enough to pass the sound test. This ended our 2023 competition. 2024 is where things start to change a bit. I became president and we had a really strong team. Just like the past years, we didn't finish the car until 12 hours after we were supposed to leave for competition. However, we did better in the business aspects of the competition and finally passed technical inspection. We made it to the dynamic events, competed in the acceleration test and the cornering test, but during our autocross race, one of our brake caliper mounts failed. The team worked really hard to get it fixed, worked through the night, and the next morning went through technical inspection again, got filled up with gas, but unfortunately we were seconds late from getting to our spot at the endurance race, and our 2024 competition was over.
Now we are here in the 2025 season, and things are looking bright. We have finished our car a month before competition, have had some great community outreach events, and we're looking to get the highest score our team has ever got in a competition before. Due to the effect of suspense, I won't show you our 2025 car yet. However, I'll show you the shop where all the work gets done.
My name is Kurt Hutchinson. I'm a faculty instructor for the Mechanical Engineering Department in the Voiland College of Engineering. The clubs are just a fantastic way for our students to gain practical real-world experience in things that they have interest in. Formula SAE is very much the same. People that join that club, the people that apply themselves, work hard at it, develop a skill set that goes along with a lot of that kind of stuff. It transfers into getting real-world jobs. I've noticed historically that club, there's going to be 3 people that are just workaholics. They're generally almost always seniors, but they'll work till 5 o'clock in the morning sometimes.
So what happened to RC Baja that it died?
Our college killed it. Yeah, I mean, it's a long story, but at that time, that club had their shop set up on the 3rd floor of Dana Hall. And she came to me and said, we're going to evacuate that space because we need room to place graduate students. Yeah. And I go, well, they're using it. She goes, no, there's nobody using it right now. And I go, well, they're out of town for the summer, but they're planning on coming back. And this was maybe 10 years after that club started. So I told her that the students didn't know anything about it. She said, well, that's not really their decision to make, it's ours. I thought maybe when the students came back, if they wanted to start the club up, I wanted to give them the nuts and bolts they have to get started again. And what happened was they kind of threw their hands up in the air and said, why try, and they quit.
Unfortunately, that's not the worst part. This year, our team requested more space because we were running out of space. And instead of coming back to us, instead of the school coming to us and saying, we got this space, they denied our space, and they are making us move to a smaller space. They are making us move to the smaller room because they're saying this building has too much asbestos and it has to come down eventually. This move would be incredibly difficult for our team because the space we have now allows us to do all the manufacturing we need to in-house, create a really close-knit community that is required to get this large-scale project completed, and have all the tools we need to do it. Having a room like this gives us 24/7 access to the shop, but if we were to move to the other building, we would have access to a makerspace, which only gives us about 9 to 5 access to the shop, which just isn't possible for a project like ours. Enough of the gloomy talk. This is our banner that we use for tabling events. The car on there is the car from 2023, and the unfortunate thing about the picture is that my butt is kind of front and center, which means that since everyone sees it, my butt is pretty much the face of the club. Long story short, this club is super important to the students. For some of them, it's a way for them to learn about something they're more passionate about, or an outlet to use their skills to work on something fun. For most of us, though, it's because we love cars. We grew up loving the way they sounded or the way they look. Some even worked on cars themselves before joining the team. We have a student here that will share his experiences about Wazzu Racing and why he joined the team in the first place. By the way, he's a super talented and attractive fella. My name is Scott Kindelberger, and I am the president of Wazzu Racing.
My name is Casey Kirschling, and I'm the chief engineer for Wazzu Racing. I have been for 2 years now.
My name is Malcolm Childs, and I am the president-elect for Wazzu Racing.
As a kid, I loved vehicles. Garbage trucks, dump trucks.
Didn't matter if it was a train, a boat, a plane.
Cars, motorcycles, the whole shebang.
When I was, I think around 8 or 9, my dad took me to the first NASCAR race that I had ever seen. Because I had watched Cars, like the Cars movie, a bunch up until then.
There was this TV show, not super popular, and I can't remember what it was called, but it had these 3 old men who would just drive cars.
I didn't really get into cars until high school. So it wasn't until my buddy had convinced me to play Need for Speed with him that I started getting a little bit of an appreciation for cars. And as I got more and more exposure to various different cars, my interest started to just run from there.
It was always kind of basic though, with like, oh, I like the Ferrari LaFerrari, oh, I like the Porsche 911. But I've definitely found a love for German cars, and in turn I also found a love for things that can go around corners pretty fast.
It wasn't until about September of 2015 where things really changed. I was playing soccer for my middle school team, and I was hit with a ball right about here on my face. And due to some stupid rules about getting hit in the head, I had to go to the urgent care to make sure I didn't have a concussion. I get out of the car, and there on the left was a navy blue Lamborghini. It was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
The trajectory of my life was set, and at that moment, I became an official petrol head.
Mechanical engineering was kind of the natural progression for me. And then by extension, the Formula Club was just added to that, really. I wanted to join Formula before ever deciding what school I wanted to go to.
Initially, I joined Wazzu Racing with the hope and desire to drive the car, but I found a love for the engineering and business instead. At the end of my first year, I became president of the club, and it was the best decision I have ever made.
I grew to love the managing of the team, and as a result, I am now in the wonderful position to be next year's president, which I'm very excited about.
School teaches us a lot of very good theory that we use to understand the world around us. But the formula really puts that theory into practice and combines it with practical understanding. And so you get the whole picture. You get to see from theory all the way to finished product. When the car's running around and there's a person in it and you're getting points at competition, that's the end product.
I love building things. I love manufacturing. I love taking people's ideas and putting them together. I love everything about this club.
I have loved being a part of this team. I have gained invaluable experience that I would have never got anywhere else, and I have met a lot of amazing people along the way. It's all because I loved cars. That's why most of us joined the team or decided to do mechanical engineering. It's because of our love for cars.
I hope you found that segment touching, and I hope you understand how important a team is like this. I also want to mention the influence and importance that a show like Top Gear and the Grand Tour has had on all of these students here. Most of us got into cars because of those three hosts, and most of us went into mechanical engineering because of our love for cars. So I just want to mention how important their legacy has been to all of us, and I want them to know that. Anyways, now it is time to reveal what you have all been waiting for. I would like to show you the 2025 Wazzu Racing number 73 race car. I am so sorry. This is in fact not the right vehicle. This is my 2005 Honda Metropolitan. Although it is a fantastic looking specimen, I believe this over here is the right vehicle. There were two covered vehicles, and I guess I picked the wrong one at first. For the second try, I revealed to you the 2025 Wazzu Racing number 73 race car. It is an absolutely beautiful car. It may not be as cool as a 2005 Honda Metropolitan, but it is stunning to look at. Again, this was 95% made by students. The 2015 Honda CBR 650F is the engine we used. That was not made by a student, nor were the wheels, the tires, the suspension, parts like that. Everything else, the bodywork, the frame, the carbon fiber seats, completely made by university students here at Washington State University. It is absolutely awesome to look at, and it's even better to drive and to watch be driven. This car, without a driver in it, weighs around 540 pounds. It is geared for about 88 miles per hour top speed and has around 60 horsepower. It is an absolute phenomenal vehicle. Now it is time to test it. We are here at a super secret testing location in a parking lot right off of Northeast College Avenue, right out of East Spring Street in Pullman, Washington, to test our 2025 race car. We have a huge crowd here today, so we really can't mess up anything. Thankfully, we have a professional driver to test our car. Some say he sold his soul to Amazon to get his stepfather a job. And he forgot to get on his bus, so he's not actually here. So I'm gonna drive.
I have been waiting for this moment for 3 years now. In fact, I was born for this. Born for speed. A desire for speed. A need for going fast. This is no small task. In fact, 100% of people who drive race cars die. It's an incredibly dangerous thing, and there are many safety precautions that our team has to adhere by. They are all super boring, so I won't bother explaining any of them. Just know we are adhering to them. I only have one shot at this. It's all up to me now.
Unfortunately, we have run out of time, and to prevent further embarrassment, it is time to end. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've learned something interesting. We'll see you next time.